Okay, this is going to be a demonstration on flashing lights in Adobe Flash CS6. I'm going to first go ahead and grab my shape tool. Got the circle tool, but I'm not going to use the circle tool. I'm actually going to use the rectangle tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the rectangle options. I'm going to adjust the roundness of the curve just a bit. It doesn't matter what shape you use for this. I'm just doing this to a rounded rectangle because that's the shape of the light I want. I'm going to do a red light and a blue light that flash on and off, so it's kind of like a police car lights on top. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to delete the outline of these lights. So I've got my layer 1 as my red light. I'm going to right click and I'm going to convert to symbol. I'm going to make it a graphic, so I'm going to name it gr_red_light. I'm going to do the same thing with my blue light. Convert to symbol. GR for graphic is the prefix _blue_light. So now I've got my red light and my blue light named. So the next thing I want to do is make sure I'm on the right layer. I'm going to double click on the red light and that'll bring me directly onto the symbol timeline. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to animate it. So I'm going to go out to about 12 frames or so, and I'm going to insert a keyframe. And then every 3 frames or so, I'm going to insert a keyframe. Right click, insert keyframe. Insert keyframe. So I'm actually inserting keyframe every 2 frames. Insert keyframe. And I'm going to remove a couple frames here. Just 2. Oh, 3. So I've got 10 frames just for this symbol. On the first frame, the first segment of the animation, I want it to be black. On the next one, I'm going to select the circular red gradient and just make sure you have it highlighted, and then it'll just fill it in for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my gradient transform tool, which is a subselection of the free transform tool. So I'm going to adjust the size of this, of the gradient. And I'm going to zoom in. Now I can fine-tune the adjustments. I'm going to want to make it fit within that shape, and then I'm just going to grab the arrow and extend it. So now I have my gradient that fits within the rounded rectangle I created. So the first frame will be black, the next one will be the circular gradient. The third segment will be red. I'm going to copy that frame with the circular rounded gradient, and I'm going to go on to the frame just after the red light, after it turns red. I'm going to insert or paste frames. So now I have the final segment is going to be black, and this way it can loop very easily and not look distorted in any way. So you want to go ahead and just play it, test it. There's my flashing light. Go back to scene 1. And I'm going to go out to about 20 frames or so, and I'm going to test it. And what I did here was I'm just making sure that it's working. And what I did wrong here is I didn't name my layers. So it's always important to name your layers, insert keyframe, and now it'll play right. I'm going to go ahead and name it right now because I just had a little bit confusion realizing that I had it on layer 1 and not on layer 2. So now you'll see it flashes and it'll loop just like that. So I've got layer 2. I'm going to do exactly what I did with the last one. Insert keyframe. Approximately every 2 frames or so, I'm going to create a new keyframe and do exactly what I did with the other one, only I'm just going to use blue instead. So now I've got 10 frames divided into 5 segments of keyframes for the color change. So the first one, I'm going to select my blue circular gradient. I'm going to resize it. And I'm going to size it just like I did the other one to fit within the rounded rectangle. Go ahead and stretch that out. And now I've got my gradient. I'm going to copy these frames so I don't have to repeat the same process. And then I'm going to paste frames. The final segment I want to be black. And seems to be working just fine. Always make sure you test things. It's always good to know early if something wrong is happening. So now I've got both my lights flashing. If you notice, they're both flashing simultaneously, but you can change that. I want it to flash one and then flash the other. So I've got my blue light, and I'm going to select it, and on looping in the properties, I'm going to put it at frame 5. And it's kind of being funny, and it's because I have it on the last frame. I didn't realize that it was just it wasn't just a standard frame. Instead of doing a keyframe, you could have hit insert frame. And I'm just playing around with it. So go to frame 1, start it on 5. And now I've got the effect that I want. So now you can see they're flashing on and off. And this is really good to do something for, like a police car. I'm just going to do a quick little, really rough doodle of a cop car. And you can use this effect for anything if you want to do street lights. So like a red, yellow, green light. You could use this effect for, I don't know, Christmas lights, carnival lights, Ferris wheel, whatever you want to use it for. It's a really cool effect. It works really well for creating flashing, blinking lights. And yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab some rectangle tool and just start doing a simple car with the rounded rectangle tool. Yeah, this effect is really easy to do. It's really effective on selling the viewer that it's an actual light. So if you have lights in your scene that you want to include, this is definitely a good way to do that. And I'm doing this kind of quickly here. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm just doing, here we got 2 wheels. I'm going to change my color. I'm going to add a grille to the car. I'm going to add some headlights. The headlights, I'm not going to go into creating them into symbols and whatnot. I've already done that for the flashing red and blue lights. But just to give you an idea, so there's my silly little car. Kind of cheesy, but it works for this. And just to show you that, I'm going to change the background to whatever color, export it as a SWF. Now if you wanted to animate the car moving, you would have the flashing lights and a symbol, and it works. So I'm just going to name my layers. And yeah, that's about it for the flashing light demonstration. So you can use this for a variety of things, any type of lights that you need done. I use the gradients particularly because, one, I like them, and two, it kind of sells it better as it's turning on. The light begins to flash. And just show you again. And that's about